You didn't forget because you are dumb or you are not intelligent. You forgot because you studied like this. You reread your notes thinking that it will stick to your brain. You highlight every point in your book thinking your brain is saving them, and you study all night thinking that you are sacrificing something. And at the end of the day, by the time you get to the exam, you almost forget everything you studied. I know this because it has happened to me before. When I was preparing for a particular test in applied economics, I was having the test the following morning. I thought that if I could study everything a night before and I stay awake all through the night, and by the time I get to the exam or the following morning, I'll be able to do well and perform well. I stayed up, I studied everything, I highlighted every point, and I reread the material all over and all over again. The following morning around 7 o'clock, I got to the exam. I was given the question paper. The questions looked familiar. I was happy. When it comes to me writing what I read, I discovered that there was nothing there. I could not recall anything at all. Although I saw the question, if it looks familiar, I knew it. I knew I read it, but to recall was a problem. And I started thinking, will I fail this course? What's happening to me? The worst part was that I was looking left and right. I saw all my colleagues writing. Everywhere was silent, but then I could not do anything. I put my head on the table and I started thinking about a lot of things, whether I'll fail the course or I'll carry the course. After a while, I started remembering a bit, but then it was not as smooth as I wanted it to be. And when the results came out, I didn't actually perform as I wanted to. After I researched about how I can study properly, and I applied it in my third year, and everything changed. In fact, I had the best results in my third year. But in my second year, we started doing essay exams, and I was not actually used to doing essay exam in the university. So I was studying like I used to study in my first year. So I thought if I could do that in my second year, I'll be able to get the result I got in my first year. After the second year, that was when it dawned on me that I was using the wrong technique. After I discovered that I was studying for familiarity instead of mastery, that was when I started learning a lot of things. And my third year, I started studying for mastery, and it's completely changed. In fact, my second year was my worst result ever. The third year is like my best result ever, and I maintained it in my fourth year and I graduated. In this video, I'm going to be exposing you to what it means to study with familiarity and what it means to study with mastery. I'm going to be stating why recognition feels good, but it is dangerous. And also, I'm going to be showing you how your brain handles familiarity and mastery. And finally, I'm going to be showing you how you can move from familiarity to mastery. So pay attention with me as I go on and break all these things down, so that you'll be able to understand and you'll be able to solve your own problem, and you start studying with mastery. So what does it mean to study with familiarity? Familiarity is the state of illusion of knowing. As you go on by reading, you start having a feeling that you've seen this before. Just let me paint an example. Imagine you are just meeting someone for the first time, but you've seen the person twice. After the second time you saw the person and you don't have contact with the person, if someone else asks you to describe how that person looks, you might not be able to describe that person's features very well, because it will be very hard for you to recall. By the time you see the person the third time, of course, your brain will signal that you've seen this face before, and that is what familiarity is. You've been rereading your book all over and all over again. It gets to a point that by the time you check a particular theme or you are reading a line, you'll be able to predict the next line because you've been repeating it and you've seen it before. But some people mistake that for mastery, and that method is actually good for multiple choice question, because that is why a lot of students find multiple choice question easy, and because it relies on recognition memory. Recognition memory is when you see something and you recognize it. It doesn't look like you've never seen it before. So, and at that point is a passive state, because you are not engaging your memory. Your brain is at the comfort state. And when you are at that state, by the time you get to the exam, or since you didn't train your brain to record that information before the exam, that's when you get to the exam or you see some question, it looks familiar, at least you've read it before, but when it comes to recalling the information, it gets hard because you didn't move from the familiarity state to the mastery state. And that is the mistake most students make. So, and that is what I'm going to be solving in this video. That is for familiarity. Now, what is mastery? Is where you start becoming active, you start engaging with the material. And at this point, learning doesn't come with too much effort because it has gone to the point of habitual learning. Habitual learning is where experts are. You've learned that thing so much, you've known it so much that you can actually perform at the stage of stress and you'll be able to do very well. This is where you can analyze information and gather pieces of information together to apply it to a particular state. If you can do that perfectly and you can study at the point of mastery, you'll be able to study very well and you will not have that particular experience of you getting to the exam hall and seeing that something feels familiar. The state of familiarity to the state of mastery is a stages of learning. Most students, they stay at the familiarity state. They don't bother to go to the mastery state because what it takes for you to move from familiarity to mastery it comes with a lot of effort and with a lot of hard work. But then because your brain likes comfort and it runs away from stress, and in fact you personally you are comfortable with it and it gives you an illusion that you are knowing it, you won't bother to go through the point of mastery and you stay at the familiarity state. That is why learning feels hard. You feel like you are dumb, but then you are not pushing yourself beyond your limit. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how you can push yourself beyond your limits and how you can start studying to the point of mastery. And recognition can be dangerous because it makes you fail your exam, most especially essay exams. You can do well in multiple choice exam because you can recognize them. For example, you've been studying a line all over and all over again, and if they break up that line into a multiple choice question and they remove a word and they put it in an option, be able to recognize that, oh, this is the answer because you could recognize it in your brain. But when they leave those options away and they put in the question at the dash, it becomes a problem for you to be able to recall because you studied for familiarity, not for mastery. If you find it really difficult to remember what you study in the exam hall, if you struggle to understand certain concepts that you study, my one-on-one coaching is for you because I'll provide you with personalized help that will guide you through anything you are studying. You'll be able to remember almost everything in your exam. You'll be able to understand concepts that you once found difficult. And I'll also provide you with a study plan that will guide you through your study process and will make you study consistently, become more disciplined, and focus better. So many students around the world have benefited from my one-on-one coaching and they've been seeing results, and you should not miss out from this opportunity. You can click the link in the description to sign up for my one-on-one coaching, and if you do, there is an ebook bonus for you once you sign up for this one-on-one coaching. There are limited slots available and don't sleep on it. So click the link in the description and get started with me today. How do the brain handle familiarity and how do the brain handle mastery? If you understand how the brain handles these two things, you'll be able to move from the state of familiarity to mastery. And like I said, these two things are stages of learning. I'm going to be explaining what goes on in the brain at the state of mastery and what actually goes on at the state of familiarity. And this will give you perfect insights on how you can push through and get to the state of mastery. When you are studying at the initial point, it requires a lot of effort from you to be able to understand a particular concept, to be able to get in, and it requires a lot of attention and a lot of conscious efforts. And at that point, it is called the conscious-based learning. This is where familiarity is formed because it requires a very high state of concentration, and the part of your brain that is responsible for this is your hippocampus and your prefrontal cortex. These two are very important while you are forming memories, and at the stage of forming memory, it requires a lot of effort to form those memory, and a lot of students stay at this point. And that is why I will always say it from now to tomorrow that you should study early enough, because if you've not been studying before, you study like 3 days before the exam, you are at the effort-based point and you are only forming familiarity because you are not giving yourself enough time to be able to get to the point of mastery. Because what it takes your brain to be able to form memories and get it to the point of mastery, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And if you do not give your brain the chance to be able to get to the point of mastery, then you are actually wasting your time if you are learning. So at this point of effortful learning, you are forming familiarity. But what makes an information goes from a familiarity to point of mastery is when you repeat the information. It's just like you're learning how to drive. You get to the car at the first instance, you have to pay more attention to the road, you have to pay more attention to the road signs, you have to pay more attention to the pedals that you are pressing, you have to pay more attention to how you build the steering. Over time, you get to a point that you don't even need to look at your leg, you don't need to even look at what the pedals that you are pressing anymore, because that you have gotten to the habitual state. And that is the state I'm talking about. That is the state you have to get to with your studying also. This mastery state happens through repetition and exposure to a particular thing that you are doing over time. The reason why in the case of a skill, you get to the point of habitual learning, the more you practice the skill and you have to do it every time, you get to the point of mastery. But in the case of you studying your textbook and all that, you reading it is not an active state because you are being exposed to the information. It's just like while you are driving, you have someone beside you and you have someone has to tell you what to press every time. You are living driving passively. But when someone is not there and you have to do it yourself, that is when it is active. That is when you are forcing your brain. Likewise for learning from a textbook or learning a concept. If you are exposed to the particular information all the time, you are not being active, you are passive. So that is why you need to repeat through recalling the information every time. That is why I usually recommend teaching. You can only get to the point of mastery easily through teaching, because these are our teachers and our professors that we have. They were able to get to that point through teaching because they've been teaching the same thing to different sets all over and all over again. Even at times, they don't even have to hold any book to explain something to you. That is the point I want you to get to, and that is the point I'm trying to explain. At the point of mastery, what is responsible for the habitual learning is your basal ganglia. Your basal ganglia is responsible for habitual learning and motor skills. After you've gone through the prefrontal cortex and you've been focused, if you keep repeating and you keep exposing yourself to the memory through recall, it gradually moves to the basal ganglia and it reduces load from the prefrontal cortex. So it gets to a point that you don't need that conscious effort, you don't need that conscious focus to achieve, to be able to do some certain things or to be able to explain some certain concepts. The task has been delegated to the basal ganglia, and that is when it gets to the point of mastery. So how exactly can you move whatever you are studying from the point of familiarity to the point of mastery? The steps that you need to take, that is what I'm going to be explaining right now. One of the significant ways you can move from familiarity to mastery is deliberate practice. And one thing you should avoid at this point is that do not practice what you're already familiar with. Practice what you are not familiar with in order for you to move your ability. And while you are practicing, practice by explaining concepts in your own words. Practice by doing past questions without having access to the solution. When you do this, it actually strengthens your neural connection, and also try as much as possible to be able to give answers without having access to the book. And if you do that and you expose yourself to the solution, the error prediction of that creates neural connection and serve as a signal to your brain that this is important and you've been corrected. So as much as you need to practice without having access to the information often, because that is the only way you can engage with the material. The next thing you need to do is to practice deep work. Now, deep work in the sense that you need to pay full attention to whatever you are learning. Like I said, this familiarity and mastery is stages of learning. And at the familiarity stage, that is where you need to study with intense focus and consciousness. And if you are not focused and conscious of what you are studying and pay more attention, there's no how you'll be able to move to the point of mastery. And that is why deep work is very important, and pay more attention, because the more attention you pay, the more connection you'll be able to create in your prefrontal cortex. And over time, the more it moves to the habitual memory, to the basal ganglia, in a way that you'll be able to act or answer questions unconsciously without having access to the book. So that is one way. That is another way of doing it. Next thing is that I should break skills into parts. Now, and this is where chunking comes in. Your brain will not be able to learn successfully through too much complexity unless you break it down into little chunks, because your brain learns in chunks. So what I mean by chunk is that you should learn to study similar things together. For example, you could be studying physics or chemistry now. In chemistry and physics, we have the calculation part, we have the theoretical part. Study the theoretical part first and chunk them, study the calculation part separately. Have a time where you only read theory, have a time where you only read calculation. Your brain will actually find where they overlap over time. Don't worry. You don't need to study them at the same time. And when it comes to graph, study the ones that has to do with graph separately. So do similar things together, and that is the only way you can chunk. Another thing is testing yourself. I have been saying this all the time and I'll keep saying it. Test yourself. Test yourself. That is the only way you can get to the point of mastery. How do you think doctors know some things without, when you go to a doctor and you tell them what you are going through and the doctor just prescribe drug for you, or a pilot that is driving into a plane, how do you think the pilot has every information at his or her disposal to be able to drive the plane successfully and land where you're supposed to do? Or a lawyer that goes to the courts and quotes so many cases in order to win a particular case. They've gotten to the point of mastery. Or a lecturer that just comes to the class without having access to the book and they keep teaching what they've actually learned, what they've known without having access to the book. They've gone to the point of mastery, and they only got there because of engagement, because of practice, and because of testing. So if you test, the more you test yourself, the more you'll be able to know what you know, and the more you'll be able to correct yourself. If you only reread and everything seems familiar to you, there is no how you'll be able to know what you know and what you don't know. So I hope you got so much value from this video, and I hope every information that I've provided in this video will actually help you to move from state of familiarity to state of mastery. And if you're interested in my one-on-one coaching, don't forget to click the link in the description and sign up right now, because there are limited slots available and it is better you just join us as we start. And also you can check out this video on other things that you need in order for you to be able to learn to the point of mastery instead of to the point of familiarity. So thank you so much for watching, and if you got value so much, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and see you on the next one.